Before we get started with this episode, I wanted to share with you that earlier this year, we started doing more of our podcasts as video podcasts. All of our audio and video episodes are available on our YouTube page. We'd love it if you'd check it out. And please, while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our channel. This way you get notified of new videos and new episodes that are posted. You can also find all of our videos on our website at MokenasFrontPorch.com or by searching Mokena's Front Porch on YouTube. Matt and I hope you enjoy this episode, and please be sure to share our podcast with a friend.
We don't have any papers. We can't get the word out. What you're doing is so important for the residents because they need to look at where we're coming from, our ideas, and feel comfortable with us when they vote for us, if they vote for us.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for sitting down and talking with me. Let me just start by saying, as you know, our podcast goes, I consider it an honor to have a sitting mayor come and spend time and talk to us. You've been very open and opened your home to me with the conversation we did with Mrs. Fleischer and yourself. You know, I want to first also mention, you know, people might criticize me for either not asking too hard of a questions or not asking what they think are the right questions. But I wanted to start this as a way to get to know the mayor a little more, as well as create an opportunity for, you know, people to maybe come up with their own questions that they can ask you and your slate as well. So again, thank you for joining me, and just really appreciate it and your commitment and your appreciation as well of our podcast. So
Thank you very much.
I want to talk a little bit first about kind of your past. You were elected initially as mayor
2013.
in 2013, but you were village trustee for a while.
Yeah, I was on the Zoning and Planning Commission from 1985 to 1987. And then I ran for trustee and won. And I was on from 1987 to 2003. 14 years? Yeah, 14 years.
So what I'd really like to talk about is kind of those in-between years, because you ran twice where you lost, right?
Yeah, once for trustee and then once for mayor.
So, you know, I had a similar experience when I ran, and I know that process of putting yourself out there can be difficult and challenging. Talk a little bit about going through that, having been a trustee, and then running and losing. What did that do to you, and what kept you from just deciding to pull back and not participate in public life after that second election, especially?
Everybody loses once in a while. Maybe they maybe they realize something. If they learn something by mistakes, then that was good. It was all worth it.
Yeah.
If you don't, then that's the definition of insanity when you try to do it again the same way. And I enjoy it. I enjoy doing what I do. And I might say I'm pretty good at it. I'm not trying to be blustery or beat my chest. I am pretty good. I better be, because I've gone to a lot of seminars, a lot of conferences, and I've learned what our job is as municipal officials.
So talk a little bit about that. You mentioned some of the trainings and things you've gone through. Maybe share a little bit about that, and then why you think that made you better prepared to be mayor.
Well, and this is important. This is very important. Every year, the Illinois Municipal League has a conference in downtown Chicago. And they have sessions where you can go to the sessions, a topic that you might want to know about, and go there, learn a little bit, talk to other elected officials, find out what they do in their town. This is very, very important. That's where I learned a lot. And there's other sessions throughout the year that you can go to. And, you know, a few years back, I went to the program through University of Illinois, leadership program and understanding of municipal government, and I'm the only one in Mokena that ever did it. Nobody else did it.
And how do you think that better prepared you for the job?
You don't know what's going on until you get there. Like I said, I could have been a trustee for years and years, for 40 years, and didn't realize what the responsibilities of the mayor are. My job is to be a cheerleader for the village. I tried to bring development into town. I want to work with them. I go to the chamber meetings. I try to get the chamber to understand that we need them to advocate for the village. If you work with all kinds of businesses, if you see a business that wants to move someplace, tell them about Mokena. How low the sales tax is. You don't pay any utility tax. And that's my job, to sell the village to people and get them out here.
And talk a little bit about that. How does our village compare? I know we have the lowest tax rate in the surrounding area. How do we compare in that ways when you're selling to other businesses? What's the high points, the selling points?
The village portion of the property tax is the lowest in Will County. And in our area, 7.5% sales tax is unheard of. Frankfurt is 8%, New Lenox is 9%, and Tilly and Orland Park are in the stratosphere somewhere. So, talking to people that live in Mokena, they say to me, they pay the least amount to live in Mokena. It's a good town. Sometimes we're frugal to a fault, but it's your money. We have to be careful with that.
I want to talk a little bit, going back in February 2022, you had a serious health issue that kept you away till about June.
About four months. So
talk a little bit about that and just kind of maybe if you can share what happened and then reassure voters that you're up for another 4 years.
Well, I've been back for 2 or 3 years. So I think I've showed voters that I can do this. Plus, I go to these different events. We had last summer we had an event with the kids. The kids that, I don't know what you call them. I don't want to offend anybody, but we had it over at, in New Lenox, and we had it by the special rec facility. And the managers, the mayors were managers. And the kids had a fantastic time. And we had a nice time doing that. Now, that's one of many things I go to. I'm a representative to the Will County, the Will County Center for Community Concerns. That's a community action agency. We assist the needy, the elderly, and people that need assistance. But I belong to the County Economic Development Organization. I was on a committee there for a little bit to study the I-80 corridor. I'm also doing that with Orland and Tinley Park. The mayors get to sit down, get together, and talk about what we want to see in our corridor. South Suburban mayors and managers, I'm on that. I'm involved in their legislative committee. The Will County Governmental League, I'm on that. So I've heard the same thing you have, and it's a shame that somebody's passing around that kind of baloney. And it's ridiculous, because I'm fine.
Okay, good to hear. I want to talk a little bit about, you have your slate of candidates.
Yes.
So I'd like to maybe just give a brief introduction of who they are and why you chose them and why you think that they really do represent Mokena's future.
Because they are independent people. They're not going to roll over just because I want something done. They're going to explain to me why they want to do it a different way. And I want people to do that. Change my mind. Don't just vote yes or no on something. Change my mind. And this is not what our opponents do. They talk before a meeting, they come into the meeting, and they have their mind made up. already. This happens time and time again. I want elected officials, trustees that can think for themselves. That's going to make the town better. And I'll tell you, all of these people will think for themselves. Nick, he's an entrepreneur. He's a pastor. You know, he teaches religion and stuff like that. He's a good, solid guy. Jim Roberts, you know, he worked for the chain stores for a while, you know, quite a bit, and he was running the stores. He's good at what he does. His mind works very, very well. He looks at everything, then he makes his decisions. And Kim, we're very lucky to get her background. She's a school teacher. She teaches government at Sandburg. And she's just, these are three good people that I want everybody to vet them, look at their background, and see how good these people are.
Anything else you want to share about them? Or you have Nick, Kim, and Jim.
Yes.
Okay. And this will already have come out, but you're going to be hosting some meet and greets, one coming up this week, as well as a number of others. What do you obviously hope for good turnout and people to come out, but, what can people expect?
See, Israel, I believe that we should be accessible. They should ask us any questions that they want. They should vet us. Not just vote for us because they like us. You should find out why you're voting for us. I put a lot of time in this village. Decades.
Yeah.
And ask me. I better know what I'm doing.
So one thought I had is, a leader has the ability to review successes and failures in their past and learn from them and correct their path going forward. So looking back over the years, maybe talk a little bit about a decision that you made as mayor that maybe you regret or wished you would have handled differently and learned
there's
from.
Been a few of those over the years, allowing a development to go into an area that we shouldn't have. I made a few of those. But not many, thank God. And I think of the residents before I make a decision. I hope people understand that. I don't just flippantly make a decision and not try to figure out the impact it's going to have on their life. That's important to me. And that's why I'm so against semis on 191st Street.
Talk about that as a problem. Maybe a lot of residents don't. I mean, we experience it and passing it and driving alongside of it. But what kind of effect does that have on the village?
It has a horrible effect on the village. You wouldn't believe, and I'm not exaggerating, Israel, we probably have roughly 400 trucks, give or take, parking around Mokena.
Wow.
Part of them were in the county, and part of them were in the village. Stuff that was done over the years, and stuff that was done recently. The people I'm running against allowed a GT Express business to come in there. Think about this, okay? They went into a business park that is one of our best revenue-generating parks. And they let this trucking company go in there to make 4 out of the 5 lots parking lots. That's not generating any money for our schools, parks, libraries. They're parking lots. Why would you do that?
And where is that located?
That's the one that's out there at by Accelerate. Why would people make that decision? The only thing I can think of is they don't understand what they're doing. They don't realize the repercussions of what they've done. Because I'll tell you what, I don't care whose fault it is. Semis are unforgiving. When you get into an accident with a semi, you can pretty much be considered gone. And that bothers me because I don't ever want to see that happen. But I don't want any more semis. And last year I tried to put a moratorium on it, on semis, on trucks, until we get done with the comprehensive plan. Not a word. Not a word. Nobody said anything about it. They didn't put it up for vote. They didn't do anything with it. It's as if it never happened.
And you bring up the comprehensive plan. Talk a little bit about that. It's something you mentioned that you've tried to do in the past.
12 years ago, when I first became mayor, 12 years ago, and they stopped me from doing it. They wouldn't vote for it. My opponent would not vote for it.
So what do you think changed now?
Oh, well, I was in an election coming up, and I was still in the hospital, and he pushed it while I was in the hospital. So we could tell everybody, oh, look what I did. I put the comprehensive plan in. Well, where were you for 12 years? What were you doing for 12 years? That comprehensive plan is so important because it allows the residents to put their opinions in, what they want their town to be. We got 20,000 people in the Village of Mokena. There's 7 of us. I don't want to make that decision for them. They have every right in the world to come to the meetings, look at when we're going to have open meetings to show people what we're doing. And I want them to come and give us their opinion because that's very, very important to me. Mm-hmm. But that's our job. We can't just, you don't just sit up there and play. It's not a monarchy.
So the last strategic plan or master plan that was it 2008 or it was quite a while ago?
I did the full plan. I did the full plan as a first-term trustee back in 1989. This was tweaked a little bit, okay? It was tweaked a little bit, but we never did a full comprehensive plan like we're trying to do now. So think about that. How many things have changed since 1989?
Everything is
and
changed,
that's ridiculous that they wouldn't do this.
Well, some of the people that were, because there was, and I'm blanking on what year, but it was early 2000s that there was maybe a remodel, and some of the criticism of people that I know that were involved in it was that they put a lot of time and effort into it and didn't feel like a lot of that came through, or was a lot of it sat there being not accomplished. So how do we know that's not going to happen again this time?
As long as I'm mayor, it's not going to happen.
So what?
And I'll back the person that runs after me if they have the same philosophies I do. It's time. The group we're running against have been in power since 2003. 2003. Now, I might be the mayor, but the trustees are the ones that vote on issues. So they've been obstructing many of the things I wanted to do, which was good for the Village of Mokena, good for the town, good for the residents.
So that's a good point. Talk about that. A lot of people criticize the village and the downtown and all that, and will put it on you. Now,
Exactly.
You're the mayor, so you take...
I understand that.
Talk a little bit about the responsibility of the two roles, because
Okay,
the mayor...
let's go with downtown.
Yeah.
I brought minutes from a workshop. This was on March 11, 2019, that I had 3 consulting firms come in. One of the firms at Frankfurt, one of the firms at Naperville, and the other firm is the one that's doing our comprehensive plan now. They came and they told us what they wanted to do downtown. They wouldn't make a decision, and this is the proof that they wouldn't make a decision, because it was in workshop. We talked about it. They didn't want to do anything. I've wanted a downtown since I was a trustee. I felt that we could really have a downtown. A lot of people thought it was nuts. Wait until you see how our downtown turns out when we're all done.
I sure hope you're right. And I know a lot of people in town, really hope that you're right and would love to see that. We've seen some glimmering lights of hope that, the tribes, and then obviously whatever happened, there, and now the dock coming in. So there's, potential, but it really seems like our downtown needs a kick in the butt.
I took a poll 4 years ago when I ran for mayor, and I took a poll again this time. 70% of the residents, makes no difference what age, what gender, who the heck they are, want the downtown. And when the board doesn't pay attention to that kind of stuff, we've got a problem. We got to do what our residents would like us to do. And they've wanted the downtown for a long time. And they're going to get it. If I get in there with the 3 people that are running for me, that's one of the first things we're going to do is push the downtown stronger than it is right now.
So what are some things that you can do as mayor to push downtown? You talked about going out and promoting.
Here's the big thing. We've got people that want to invest in downtown. But the reason they're not is because they don't know if the board wants it. Because the board can never make up their mind. So what happens is, if you're going to invest millions of dollars, and the municipal board, the village board, doesn't know what they want to do, you're not going to put that money into downtown, because you don't know which way the wind is going to blow with these guys. And that's why they're not doing it. I've talked to people that want to develop downtown. They want us to push for the downtown. They want to see us make that decision that we're going to go in the right direction.
Now, we potentially have this Franklin's coming in.
Possibly, yes.
And then...
It's never done until they sign on the dotted line.
So as of now, there's been no sale of the property, right? Is it
right?
It's a proposal.
Yes.
But, it looks great. I mean, if something like that comes through, that's the kind of thing that seems like...
that'll be the catalyst for downtown.
Bump. Yeah, big time.
I met with him last year for the first time. We met and sat down and talked and went back and forth a little bit about what's going on. Then I went back out there with Brent and John. We talked to him again to find out how interested he was in it. And he's more and more interested. And but he's going to want an incentive.
Beyond the TIF incentive?
Yeah. Now, we have to make up our mind whether to do that. So it's not just giving money. The residents want a downtown. So if we're going to spend a little extra money for it, put the darn thing in. These people pay taxes. They want something for it. Please, give me something to do in my town.
Yeah.
And that's what we should be doing. We should be working with our residents to get something done, and they should be seeing that we're trying. If we get this downtown, like I said before, Israel, it'll be the catalyst for downtown. There's no doubt in my mind.
So also right now, downtown, and that lot is a lot that the village purchased, was it 2018 or 2019, I think, purchased that, the old Terrafin property there.
Yeah.
And, with the idea, we're going to hold this and hopefully develop. So why do you think the village hasn't done more of that? We've got two large lots sitting on Front Street.
You know what? I want to talk more about myself, but I can't. The person I'm running against did not want to buy strategic property downtown for this type of development. He said, we are not developers. You're right, we're not developers. But we can hold a strategic piece of property. We're the ones that zone that piece of property. And as the worth of that piece of property goes up because of our zoning, the village is going to get more money on it. So what is wrong with you? We should be the one controlling our own destiny with downtown. But he won't do it. He does not want to spend the money, and I'm sorry. The residents in Mokena deserve more. Some of these people, in fact, a lot of them, pay a lot in taxes, and they want something for it. And I think working our butts off and giving them a downtown will be a good start. And then a bicycle path, a walking path, so the young people, like I've told you before, when I was growing up, cars were a big thing. The younger people now want to be with their kids. They want to be on their bikes. They want to be able to go downtown and maybe see one of their neighbors with them. Or maybe that's eating down there. The kids can play together. The parents can sit down and talk. That's what they want, and I don't blame them. I think it's great. Well, we've got to give it to them.
One of the thoughts of downtown also has been, the train station, and that was part of the previous master plan, is moving it down kind of where the that small military park is, or the one right at the end of Division Street. In that, or maybe it was further down by the police station. Right?
It was working with the park district to bring it over to Walnut Industrial Park.
Okay.
And then put parking in there for the village and for the park district. So when they have big events, they got plenty of parking over there.
Do you think that's still ever a chance or a possibility?
The park district wants to get moving. But again, we're holding them up because people can't make a decision. Please make a decision whether it's right or wrong, but make the decision. Don't just sit there and then give me a blank, like the deer in the headlights stare. That's our job. Make a decision.
So the park district has the large, the farm field there sitting in between, the downtown and the park district's property, which really becomes the second major area of our general downtown. What would you like to see with that farm field?
Well, years ago when I was a trustee, I talked to a fellow by the name of Mike Basteris. Okay, Mike was the director of the Forest Preserve. So I went out there and we talked for a little bit, and their plans were to put cross-country skiing trails in the Forest Preserve, tubing hills, and other winter activity. And I want, now naturally Mike is gone, but I want to give them a call and see if that's still on the books. Problem is, we're not getting any snow.
Well, yeah.
But that would be so nice for the town. They have something like that in our town. That would be great.
Yeah, that Hickory Creek Preserve is such an just an unsung treasure of Mokena, and to have that access to that, and I think tying it in, and then with the park district, and they have the frisbee golf back there that gets in the woods, is absolutely beautiful.
I fought for that years ago because people wanted to let the developer develop homes back there. So myself and this woman that lived over there called up Dr. George Ware with the Morton Arboretum. Please come out and walk the area and let us know if things need to be saved. He walked the area and came back and said, you're going to destroy your ravine. Mm-hmm. And that is going to destroy possibly 100 acres. And there was indigenous plants back there and everything. So I brought that to the board and said, this is something we can't do. And we didn't do it. And that's a big deal out there because that's a beautiful forest preserve district. That's a beautiful area. I mean, when the kids were growing up, we walked that so much.
Yeah. What would you call your most significant accomplishment so far as mayor?
There's been a few of them. The original comprehensive plan back in '89, the negotiating the boundaries with Orland and Tinley and New Lenox and Frankfurt, because if we didn't do that, then I really do think that Mokena might have been gobbled up on certain areas. I honestly feel that Tinley Park would be up at 191st in the Grange if we didn't negotiate those boundaries.
Wow.
And that was very important that we get that done, because you also have developers that play one village against another. We don't have that. We have the boundary agreement. That really was one of the most important things that I did on the board.
And what's that process like? How do you go through annexing that section of unincorporated into Mokena?
I just go through the process.
Is it a vote by the residents of that area, or the municipality's agreement?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes we can force annex them. But that is the last thing I want to do. I don't like to play that game. But, because if they're surrounded on three sides by the village, we can force annex them. What I'd like to do is get them to understand and work with us about this is what you get if you come into the village. We'd really like to. Now, granted, there's going to be things that are a little stricter, but it's going to bring up the value of your home. And we'll work with you. You're only going to be paying 4 extra cents on a dollar to come into Mokena. That's all the tax is going to be. And really, I think we should just find out what they want to do. I don't want to force them. Don't force them.
Are there other areas, that we're looking to expand still, or does that happen? Is it an ongoing thing, changing border lines?
I'm looking around town now, and I'm looking at areas that have older homes in the county. What I would like to do is rezone those commercial, grandfather in the people that are living there, and then develop those as lifestyle areas, as commercial areas.
What areas, any in particular that you'd point out that you think would fit
I'm
for
just
that?
going to take one because I don't want to get anybody mad at me.
Sure.
Arbury Hills. Look at where that's located on 191st and LaGrange. That is a prime piece of property. And as the years go by, if we do grandfather the homes in and rezone the commercial, you might see somebody come in and be interested in it. If you don't try, you don't get it.
And, speaking of that, one thing I've always thought is that downtown area of the industrial, I forget, you mentioned the name of what that street is called there, south of the tracks there. And has there ever been a thought or an idea of moving that area or getting that industrial area
out of here?
Yeah, move to another area and incorporating.
Industrial Park? Yeah, we've been talking about that. We have to sit down in earnest and talk to Mr. Bunch and tell him that this is getting dangerous. There's a lot of semis going down there to pick up his product, and we've got to sit down. I don't want to make a deal that's going to hurt him, but I also want to make a deal that's going to be good for my residents.
I've seen semis come down First Street before, and It gets a little hairy.
It is a little hairy.
Yeah.
And we've got to stop that. We've got to stop it because we can get rid of that industrial park and then bring 195th Street into McGovney on the north side of the Mr. Younker's farm. Now we open up that whole area there for the people that live east. That's all they have to do is come down that road to come into the downtown. Right now, they have to go around in each direction. This way, they can come right in. We get more restaurants in there. They're more accessible.
It's the prime potential development area. Yeah.
It's, like I said, this is what's driving me nuts over the years, is that I could see this. It's always been my vision to have a downtown, but people don't see it. Oh, we'll never have a downtown. We'll never have a downtown. Baloney. Do you see what happened when Debbie put the trucks out there? How many people showed up downtown?
They've been great.
Don't you dare tell me that we can't have a downtown. That's baloney.
Those nights have really shown that Mokena desires something downtown.
Yes.
Like they want to have a place to have music going and food and just hanging out. Like that, we talk about community. And, that's how you breed a sense of community. You have things that you go to and you see a neighbor and you talk to, or you meet a new neighbor, or you meet the teachers that are all those things. And that food trucks event has been a prime example.
Exactly, Israel. When I was brought up in Chicago, people sat out on the front porch. You knew everybody. You'd walk down the street, you'd say, "Hello, Mr. Ilian. Hello, Mr. Giacomo," and stuff like this. You knew everybody. And now people, they come home, pull their car in the garage, go in the house, and they don't come out until they're going to work the next day.
It's true. One question I had is thinking about along those lines, how does, and this is a problem Mokena's dealt with for years. I read about it back in the 80s, and even when you first came in, Mokena was going through a change and a growth, development and progress. And I feel like we're in a similar time. There's a lot of potential growth and things changing. How does a village like Mokena go through that growth, but balance kind of our small town community feel, without losing, nothing is Orland, but we don't want to be in Orland or necessarily.
That's our slogan. Planned, respect, here it is, respect the past, but plan for the future. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to respect the past and never forget our past, but we've got to plan for the future. And we can do it. We can keep the small town Mokena. There's no reason we can't. You just have to work at it.
Yeah. So talk about that. I love seeing the, respect the past. Obviously being history and
Yes,
Mokena's
yes.
history, that's very important. But what does that mean to you?
I've been lucky over the years to know some of the people that lived here for a long time. Bill Weber was one of them. Rob Horace was another one. And, Roy had his butcher shop on Front Street. And then Ken came in and bought it from Roy. And this was fun. I love to know the history of Mokena. Because I think I told you before, when we came out to Mokena for the first time, Mr. Junker was bringing the cows across LaPorte.
Yeah.
And that was it. Laurie saw that, and she wasn't going to go anyplace else. Then we drove through downtown, and it said washing a horse blankets prohibited. So we can do it. We can do it just like when people say, well, you can't do this, it's going to cost money. We built a police station. We upgraded our sewage treatment facility. We spent $25 million. Didn't raise anybody's taxes. And I had to sign a promissory note for $5 million. We could have paid the promissory note off already, but we were getting more interest on a promissory note than we were paying. So we just let it ride.
That's a great thing. Talking about that, one of the things that came up is the village is considering doing a new village hall.
Yes, yes.
So talk about, why do we need a new village hall, and what does that bring, or how does that make our village better?
Every building has a life cycle, and the village hall is pretty much past
a long one. Yeah.
Yes, and the thing that's a little scary. It's a little old underneath there, and we don't know how really bad it is. Because there's still water that seeps in there and stuff like that. So I don't like our employees working in that condition, that situation. So I would like to see us build a new village hall. I mean, we deserve it. Did you see how proud the people were of that police station?
Yeah, it's a great. It was awesome walking through it.
People in town were really proud of that police station. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a great town. They felt that it was theirs. That's what's neat about Mokena. They felt that it was theirs.
And what do you envision for a village hall? You could wave your wand today. What would you do?
I want to build a nice building that is not the Taj Mahal. Look at how things are going to change in the future, okay? With being able to get stuff done online or, whatever it is. Let's not build a big village hall. Let's build a nice one in a nice piece of property. But I don't want to get carried away, because you see some of these municipalities, you want to talk about Taj Mahals. My God, you think there were pharaohs building their... The mayors were building their tombs, for God's sake.
Sure.
But no, I don't want to make it I want it to be a good facility that's going to do the job that it's supposed to do.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing Mokena over the next 5 to 10 years?
We've got some challenges, but we've corrected any problem that we were going to have with the water. The water's taken care of till 2050 and beyond. We got the police station. We upgraded the sewage treatment facility. We're going around to different roads, neighborhood roads that need to be worked on, so we're taking care of that. We're buying vehicles when we need them. So maybe we're going to have some challenges coming up, but I don't see them. When you take care of your money and you watch yourself, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
And we do a pretty good job of not getting carried away with spending money. I always say some of these towns spend money like drunken sailors, And that's a shame because they think it's monopoly money. They forget that it's the residents' money. And that's our job, to protect that money and protect them. The only thing we haven't touched on, I will go back a little bit, and I do have something that could hurt us. Our road system stinks. If you look at Mokena's road system, look at how crowded LaGrange Road is. And look at what's happening to Wolf Road. Look at how backed up it's getting. We have no other road, north and south. We don't have a road east and west, a good road like 159th east and west. And then you got to go all the way out to 30.
Yeah.
We need, and again, okay, for 12 years, I've been trying to get the board to understand that we need to do a comprehensive traffic study for a couple of reasons. We need to know, you see, when you don't do it, then subdivisions pop up all around you. Now, how are you going to get through? How are you going to extend these roads? That's why it's so important. It should have been done 12 years ago, Israel. Not now. What we're doing is kicking the can down to the next boards that are coming up. And it's going to be a pain in the butt. And the other thing that's important is that you need to do a traffic study if you want to get grant money. Grant money comes if you give them, a phase 1 traffic study. Because if I go up to them and say, we need a road right here, they're going to say, okay, what, you got a study? Oh no, I just think we need a road right there. You know what's going to happen to you? And this is what's hurt Mokena getting grant money. We gotta do this kind of stuff. That's what we have to do. We gotta show a need for it with a traffic study.
What would the solution be for a Wolf Road? I mean, the idea of expanding Wolf Road is kind of a scary thought.
No, we might have to, and that's the point I'm making. We might have to go someplace else. I don't know. I'm not a traffic engineer.
Yeah.
But we need somebody to say, okay, Mokena, this is what we need to do. Because look at what's going on with 80th Avenue at Tinley Park. That's looking ahead. Mm-hmm. That is going to be a major road going south. That's going to be very, very important. But we got to drive all the way down to 80th Avenue, maybe come all the way back. We've got streets here that we could have done that with. And we didn't. We just let it go, Israel. And that's not fair. That's not fair to the future residents of Mokena, the future boards, the future mayors.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure we could talk a lot longer as we have in the past. We're coming close to an hour, about 50 minutes. Yeah. So I just want to give you an opportunity, take some time and just share with us, the voters, why we should trust you with 4 more years, as well as you and your slate, why you're the best thing for Mokena.
I've already proven myself to people. I've already proven. What you see is what you get. You don't have to vet me. You can just see what I've accomplished over the years. When I came on board, Israel, our sales tax in 2013 was $3.7 million. This last fiscal cycle, it's $0.884 million. So we more than doubled our sales tax. And we're going to do more of that. We're going to get more. And that's what my job is. And if people were listening to what I was saying and understood it just a little bit, they should see why I deserve another 4 years. Because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff. I've been doing it long enough. We need to get, number 1, the comp plan done. Number 2, a comprehensive traffic study. And number 3, get our butts moving on the downtown. And then number 4, get the damn trucks out of here. Get them out of Mokena. We don't need them on 191st Street. We have a lot of our A lot of our cars and stuff like that, pedestrian cars and things that are driving, in and out of Mokena, I don't like mixing them with semis. And we've got a lot of semis, way too many of them.
Okay. Well, great. I really appreciate, again, you spending time to talk. Do you want to, again, share, you guys have a website, I believe, which we'll put on the screen as well.
Yeah, we got a Facebook page, and we also have a web page, www.MokenasFuture, no apostrophe, MokenasFuture.com.
Okay.
And you'll get to see the people that are running. You'll see the dates that we're going to have our meet and greets. You just be there. We don't want nothing. You just be there. You'll have coffee and pastry and ask whatever questions you want because we're not afraid to answer them. We know what we want to do. We know what needs to be done in Mokena. And it's not brain surgery. Just do it.
Again, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. Please remember to vote on April 1st in the municipal elections, or by April 1st. And we're going to be having more of these videos with the rest of the mayor's slate. And so check out our website, and thanks for watching. Again,
thank you for doing this, because I've told you once before, we don't have any papers. We can't get the word out. What you're doing is so important for the residents, because they need to look at where we're coming from, our ideas, and feel comfortable with us when they vote for us, if they vote for us. So this is very important to be able to get our dreams out, our ideas, and just things like that. What we want, our vision.
I truly believe that when you're running, you should communicate. You should be out there getting your message out, talking and meeting people. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for the opportunities. I know I'll be checking out some of the meet and greets, and hope you will too. So thanks again.
Thank you, Israel, very much.